Hi, thanks for joining us today. With us is Kristi Faltorusso, the Chief Customer Officer at ClientSuccess. Hi, Kristi. How are you doing today?
Hi, Ben. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Well, why don't we just dive into it? Tell us a little bit about who you are, where you come from, and how you got to where you are.
Absolutely. So, Kristi Faltorusso, I'm currently the Chief Customer Officer at Client Success. So, we are a customer success management solution. So, what we like to say is that we help our customers manage from new to renew. So, interestingly enough, all of my customers are my peers because we sell to customer success teams. Prior to joining Client Success, and I've been here for about almost 3 years, which is shocking to feel like I'm already here 3 years. I spent the past decade building, scaling, and transforming customer success functions across various B2B hypergrowth SaaS companies. So I've had a lot of experience in building out teams from scratch, transforming account management teams, scaling things globally. So a lot of experience in customer success. The first act of my career, nobody really cares about. I spent a decade in marketing, but I will say why that's interesting is a lot of what I learned and did in marketing is actually super transferable to the work that I get to do in customer success.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I run into that all the time being a marketer. It goes hand in hand. You said you started a lot of groups, taking a lot of companies from 0 to 100. What advice would you give somebody on their first 100 days leading a customer experience team?
My advice to folks is come in and listen and learn.
Hmm.
What I find leaders do is like there is this innate need to like come in and make impact day one. And so they start driving change and start doing things and hiring people and firing people. And it's like, it's so super disruptive. And at that stage, you don't know enough to know if the changes and the recommendations you're making are the right ones. So if you're coming into an organization, the best advice I can give, and only because I've done the opposite many times and have failed miserably. Come in and really do your best to listen, pay attention, engage people, learn as much about the business, your customers, your product, so that way you can make informed decisions that are going to make meaningful, long-lasting impact. Now, obviously, you can't just sit around for 100 days, or else then you definitely probably won't be making an impact and you might not make it to the next 100. So come in, I would say, listen, your first couple weeks should all about listening and learning. Then start to find some low hanging fruit, right? Because as a leader, you do want to make some meaningful impact. But again, at that stage, to impact lagging indicators like retention or churn or revenue growth and these things, that takes time, right? To really make meaningful changes there. So find small wins and opportunities to drive change. It could be in process, it could be in people, could be enhancing technology. But as you start to listen and learn, you're going to uncover these small wins. Make some changes there. That's going to help you get trust from your peers, from your team, get that buy in. And once you start to build that internal credibility, you're going to be able to make more meaningful impact in the next part of that 100 days, right? So if we're breaking it into 30, 30, 40, 30, listen, learn, make some quick, small wins, low hanging fruit, and then really start to build some alliances around bigger strategic initiatives and that planning phase. And I think that that's really the big part of the back half of that 100 is starting to plan strategically. As leaders, sometimes we find ourselves working in the business, not on the business. But you've got to be able to elevate yourself and work on the business. And that's where that strategy comes in. So your first, 60 days or so, you should have enough understanding about what's going on to figure out what is the direction we need to go to hit the milestones that we need to as a team.
That makes total sense. And that leads me right into my next question. Your first 100 days is over. What is your current customer experience strategy?
Oh gosh. Okay. So obviously I'm way past my first 100. So it's funny. I did a LinkedIn post this week and I talked about we have less than 90 days left in 2023. That's it. I think we're down to 88 if I recall. So that's not a lot of time. So right now at Client Success, what I'll tell you, I have three huge areas of focus, things that I'm redefining, rebuilding, doubling down on as I move into 2024. So the first one is onboarding. This year, we did a great job of enhancing and taking it to what I would say onboarding 2.0. We built a very, very comprehensive program that is more accelerated than it's ever been, helping our customers through different channels and mechanisms guide them to their wins, their outcomes, the things that they are most focused on. But we can do better. We can accelerate this more. I can help guide them more prescriptively. So my big area of focus is staffing resources, people, technology, content, all around onboarding to really double down on that for 2024. I want to use that as a core differentiator for who we are in the space because what I've found about our customers is that most of them, if they are not implemented and set up and configured right in that first couple weeks, months, they never really get to a place where they're going to maximize the value. And we've done re-onboardings, we've done audits with them. And like, even with our best attempts, once you're out of those initial couple weeks and months, you never get the time, you never get the momentum, you never get the buy-in that you will. So it's been really tough. So onboarding is number one. Number two, technical resources. So our product is not super technical. It's actually the beauty of client success. It's simple, it's powerful, it's powerfully simple. It's easy to use. Nobody, you don't need a technical admin, you don't need resources against it. But there are technical nuances to our solution. Because we integrate with CRMs and other data sources, you have to make sure that the data is set up, integrated, and configured correctly. Because if you don't and can't trust the data that's in your platform, you're never going to use it. You just won't trust it. And so there's no value. It's garbage in, garbage out.
Yep.
So I really want to put a lot of focus around technical resourcing to help ensure that our customers feel 100% confident every day they can trust the data that's in their solution and use it in the biggest conversations, which is usually with their board and their executive peers. So I'm doubling down on resources to help our customers get that locked and loaded. And last thing, education. Now, for us, we're in the customer success space, customer experience space. It is more than just educating our customers on how to use our product. We have to teach them best practices about the industry. We have to educate. We have to enable. We have to be the driving force that's going to help them drive their businesses forward. What I have found a lot about who our customers are in our ICP, we've got a lot of first-time customer experience or customer success leaders. We've got folks who haven't done this a ton of times, folks that are still learning. They're taking on new challenges, right? The types of organizations are, putting them in positions to solve things they hadn't solved before. So we want to educate and enable. We want to connect them with other folks who are doing things similarly. So our last big strategy is all around education and creating the content through different channels, mechanisms, and different types of content that's going to help elevate and educate them.
That's great. It sounds like you've really put the strategy together and you're moving forward on it. I can tell in your voice and your passion that you're doing a great job at it. How do you measure the success of these initiatives? What tools do you use? What at the end of the year before you go into 2024, how can you look back and say, "Hey, I did a fantastic job"?
That's a great question. Now, obviously, all of these are going to have different types of metrics around it. For onboarding, a lot of the stuff that we're doing right now in full transparency is going to be about building, because we're going to put this in place for 2024 and like kind of kick off the end of this year. So a lot of it is project-based tracking and KPIs tied to key milestones around the projects and initiatives to get us to a place where we are ready for 2024. As I think about how we'll be measuring this success, onboarding is going to be really focused on usage and adoption, right? How many of our customers are using the platform as intended, as designed to achieve their goals? So really focusing on the nuances and intricacies around how they take our technology to operationalize it against their business goals and objectives. Now, the cool thing is we track all of our customers' goals in client success. So
Nice.
we actually have the ability to see which of our customers are piecing and tracking towards those. So it's usage adoption, it's their ability to achieve their success. So through goal tracking and really the level of engagement that we're going to be seeing from our customers and participants around that. The second thing is with our technical resourcing and staffing behind that, these technical initiatives, more integrations. So we're going to be tracking how many tools and systems each of our customers are integrated with, what the data flows look like. They're making sure, errors are down, reducing technical support tickets. We have a lot of tickets that come through our technical support channel around these areas. So our goal here is to also, we've been tracking the number of tickets that have come through. We want to reduce the number of tickets. So we're going to be looking at a lot of data around that. And then the last part about education is also going to be tied to some of the KPIs around onboarding with adoption and usage, but then also really paying attention to how our customers engage. So we want to understand customer participation in webinars, how they're engaging and using our community, right? Walkthroughs and all of the flows that we're building in-app for them, right? So we're looking at all of these different things. So there's going to be qualitative and quantitative goals for all of the things that we're looking at. But also, like I said, as we're building, it's going to be all project-based.
And it sounds like you have this thing flowing perfectly. What types of pain points are you running into? I can tell by your face there are a few. Yeah.
There's always pain. So listen, just again, full transparency, this is like an idea that I've taken from less than a week to where we are today in this recording. So I basically have been pitching this to my team. The first thing is I want my team to always feel like change is happening with them, not to them. So
Mhm.
the first thing I need to overcome is getting their buy-in and collaboration, because what I'm doing effectively is building out specialty roles, which means I'm breaking our entire CX model. So I've had support, service, and customer success. And our CSMs, they managed from new to renew. It was everything. They managed onboarding, renewals, ongoing enablement, training, everything. So we're breaking that entire model. I needed each member of my team to feel like they were heard in things that they wanted to do, things that they like doing, things that they feel they're good at, and find the right roles for all of them. So that was step one, that I had to kind of overcome that hurdle of getting their buy-in and
Mhm.
really excitement around this. Because if they're not excited and passionate about it, this whole initiative won't work. I really need them committed to the change that we're driving, because as we all know, change is hard. Now,
Mhm.
the second thing is getting my customers buy-in. This is going to have probably the greatest impact on them after my employees. And so what I've done is I've reached out to a handful, I think if I'm doing the math correctly, it's like 24%, 23, 24% of my customer base. And I said, hey, listen, I'm going to be making a ton of changes, but before I do, I want to hear from you, our customers, right? Like this is going to impact you. I want to understand if the changes I'm making are going to feel better, worse, different, if you feel like they're going to help you achieve your objectives. So I've already set up, almost 100% of my customers have responded to my outreach and have booked
Wow.
time with me. Crazy. They're all
Yeah.
super excited. I started conversations yesterday and feedback has been super positive. Everyone's like, yes, this is the way to go. It makes a ton of sense. We obviously want to learn more and see where this goes, but like, yes, from what we're hearing, we feel good about that. So I'll be doing comprehensive interviews with them and presenting some of my ideas to get their buy-in and help them understand what their experience and kind of journey with us looks like today versus what the next one might look like for next year, and just make sure that, listen, I'm never going to please everybody. It's like
Mhm.
kids, right? Like you're never going to make everybody
Yeah.
100% happy. But if I can get a good enough percentage of them supportive and at least understanding where we're going and why, I feel like that'll be a win. But I want to make sure that I can also say I did this with my customers in mind, like
Mhm.
truly, not anecdotally. What I feel like a lot of people do is that they're like, yeah, I think our customers will love this. I
Yeah.
don't want to do that. I want to make sure they're bought in. And obviously, one of the biggest hurdles is making sure that my executive leadership team is bought
Yes.
in,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
right? Now, I'm always going to put my employees, because that's my team one, and my customers, they're going to come first. But obviously, I got to get everybody else on board, right? Our CEO, our head of sales, head of product, everybody has to, marketing, everyone has to be bought in, because this change impacts everybody, right? So, how our sales team sells and talks about what that post initial sales experience looks like, what this might do to retention and growth opportunities. And so, we all just need to be prepared for what this will look like. But getting them bought in and also excited about the direction that we're headed, and really, again, articulating the why.
That makes perfect sense. Do you have a specific example of how you've used customer feedback to change your company?
Yeah, so obviously, like I said, I'm taking this as one opportunity to do that, which is really exciting. But we did something similar. So earlier this year, we put together, we built out a community for client success. So partnered with Higher Logic as our platform for that, built a community from scratch, got that launched. The reason we did that was based off of customer feedback. So
Mhm.
one of the things that our customers leverage me for, in particular in the role that I sit in, is that they come to me all the time asking for advice, best practices, guidance. They want to ideate, they want to talk to me about whatever they're going through and ask my opinion and my thoughts. And I always feel very privileged to be able to share an opinion, but I'm not the only brilliant person out there, right? Everyone's got
Mhm.
experiences, everyone's got learnings, everyone's got a story to tell. So I asked my customers, I'm like, listen, as much as I love talking to you, and I do, would you want to talk to your peers? Would you want to be connected to other people easily, accessibly, that you can go and have different conversations with? And everyone said yes,
Mhm.
obviously.
Mm.
So that, coupled with the fact that, our customers shared feedback on like wanting earlier updates around product and support, and a repository where they could share feedback on the product easily. And so there was a lot of needs that came back from feedback from surveys, from one-on-one conversations with their CSMs, conversations that I had directly with them. things that we saw bubble up in support tickets. So all of these different channels that our customers were really voicing their opinions, we kind of pulled all that together to support the idea that, like, yes, community is going to check off a lot of these boxes. And so based off of feedback and what our customers were clearly yearning for, we built this community for them. And, we set it up, we rolled it out. A lot of learnings there, which this is not the episode to discuss all of that. But, that was something that we did as a commitment to our customers based off of what they needed.
I think that this community learning is one aspect of my next question, right? What do you think is the future of CX? And that right there, I think, is a great example of you already making the future happen now. But what else do you think you could do?
So I'm really big on this concept, and I just did a keynote presentation on something that I'm calling sustainable success. Because the reality of it is, so many of us created these bloated organizations, right? Because we created this model that said, great, customers of a certain size need certain resources. We've got all these leverage ratios, like how many customers each CSM can have. And this is the work that we do. And it never changed, right? Every 50 customers that came into the organization, great, meant we needed to hire another CSM. Well, with the economy doing what it's doing, and it will continue to do this,
Mhm.
it's going to be a while before we can go back to hiring, before we will have more resources, whether that be money or people or technology. And the reality is, we have to learn how to shift gears and build a sustainable success model. And so that has been a big area of focus. And I think that that is the direction that we're going to see everyone go. Now, to achieve that, though, we've got to do things differently. We cannot keep sounding this horn on this statement that, ugh, irks me the most, is like, we've got to do more with less. It's impossible. I'm not a math gal, but like, it just doesn't work. What you can do is something different with what you have. And that has been my mantra, right? Like, we don't have what we had. So we have to do something different with what we have if we still want to achieve those outcomes. And so what we're going to start to see is more focus on scaled models. Now, I'm not saying a tech touch, I'm not saying digital only. Scaled is different. These terms cannot be used synonymously. They all mean something different. There's a different approach. Pooled is not scaled is not
Mhm.
digital. So being able to, one, articulate what the difference of those three things are, but then putting more scaled programs in place, right? One to many initiatives, ways that you can onboard at scale, train and enable at scale, right? Communicate, connect, all of these things. Now, obviously, community is one aspect of that, but the scaled theme is going to be a big one. The next big thing we're going to see pop up is more focus around AI. Now, I know that
Mhm.
is a total buzzword right now, and people are using it very tactically, like to do things like, great, I got email templates, I can build an account plan, a success plan. Those are cool ways to save time, but we're going to see AI integrated into technology in a way that is going to completely disrupt the way that we do work. And so I feel like that is going to help us build and contribute to the sustainable success model. And then lastly, I do believe that we're going to see a breakdown of what those roles look like and more of a move to the specialty model that I described earlier and what I'm tackling. You're going to
Mhm.
see more of that. I think we will see the traditional catch all CSM go away, because I do believe that that model is what's bloating these businesses. So when you see a breakdown of that, more move to specialty, again, it all contributes to that sustainable success.
Yeah, and that happens in a lot of departments, right? You used to start with one marketing head, and now there's all these marketing functions as that grows. Well, you're so smart, and you know what you're talking about. I'm just going to give you the floor. And what else should we know about you? What else? Get on your soapbox and preach.
Okay, you're very cute. I don't know everything. I'm not super smart. I customer success. I feel like I'm kind of getting the hang of this thing after 12 years. So yeah, I listen. Here's the thing. If I'm going to leave you guys with one takeaway, because I feel like this is something that I've been really excited about. Um, Everybody is going to be okay. I've been like, and I have to like kind of leave on a positive note, because I feel like this year has been all gloom and doom. Every time I turn on LinkedIn, I am seeing people again laid off, people reaching out to me looking for jobs. I'm telling you, I am not an economist, but I am married to somebody who works in finance, and I am watching the data alongside of him. I'm spending a lot of time really understanding what trends and what things are dictating what the future might look like. 2024 will not just hit a switch and it will be better, but we are on a path to getting back to a place where we can sustain, where businesses will go back to feeling whole. But we've got to do some work right now. And so, for all the leaders that are out there, I encourage everybody to just think differently, work harder, work differently about how you're building your teams, your processes, your people, your technology, everything. But we will get to a place where things will feel like they're getting back to normal. Um, I would like to connect with folks, Ben. Can I do my little plug here
Yeah,
and like
absolutely.
tell
Tell us how
people
we can
where to
follow your
find me?
career. Yeah, how can we connect with you?
Okay, very good, very good. Because
Yeah,
I want to make all new friends.
yeah.
Great. So listen, if you are not connected with me on LinkedIn, which I feel like is the easiest and best place to find me, it's where I share a lot of my thoughts and ideas. I'll bet some of them are crazy. You can still find them all on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn or you want to kind of go deeper into some of the content and works that I'm sharing, you can find me on my website, which is just KristiFaltorusso.com. So first name, last name.com. I've got all of my information there. I've actually launched a customer success course this year with a company called Course Careers. So if you're somebody breaking into customer success, transitioning, looking to hone your skills, you could dive into that. Tons of templates that I sell there. So I got a little e-commerce store. So if you're not interested in building everything from scratch, which I highly advise that you do not waste your time and do that, I've got a ton of resources out there. And I'm super excited. I'll be launching, for anybody who is familiar with Oprah's favorite things, which I think is a big thing. She does every holiday season. I'm going to be like Oprah because why not? Because she is fabulous and smart and super successful. I'm going to steal her model. I am launching Kristi's favorite things, which will highlight all of my recommendations and resources against books and podcasts and people you should follow and resources, just a little bit everything. Focus on the top ones in each of the categories. So that will be live on my site this quarter as well, which I'm super excited about.
That's exciting. You got a lot going on. You're keeping yourself busy. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And thanks for sharing your knowledge. You have a good one.
Thanks, Ben.